Do you struggle to get a girl's attention or keep her interested when you're telling a story? Today, we gon' fix that. What up, homie? My name's Dave, and I put out new videos every Tuesday and every Friday to help you get the girls you want and become the man you're meant to be. So if you haven't subscribed and turned on notifications yet, then what are you waiting for, man? Go ahead and do it right now. But yeah, it's another beautiful day out here in Mexico City and another beautiful day to tell good stories. Because listen, man, telling good stories is one of the most attractive qualities you can have. It makes it so much easier to talk to girls, to attract girls, and to have those fun conversations. So today, you're gonna learn exactly how to do it. Let's get into it. So before you can tell great stories, it helps to get an idea of what great storytelling looks like. And for that, it's really good to watch comedians who are good at storytelling. Now, my dad's actually a stand-up comedian himself, and I've had him on video here before. So I've been going to comedy shows my whole life. And what I've realized is that a lot of what is in stand-up comedy can be used to help you attract girls. So I've kind of taken some of these stand-up comic concepts and started using them in my conversations, including storytelling. And stand-up comedy is fun to watch too, so this is kind of like an easy little action step for you. But I recommend checking out guys like Bill Burr, John Mulaney, Aziz Ansari, along with Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle, because these are just a few comedians who are really great at storytelling, and kind of watching these guys, seeing their sets, and kind of mentally internalizing what they're doing, even taking notes on how they frame and tell a story is really gonna help you. And a lot of what they do is what you're gonna learn in today's video.
We only need the two of us together. I need only you in this
So there's two things you wanna do to get a girl's attention before you start telling a story. The first is to make sure it's about something she's actually gonna be interested in and not just some random shit. A lot of times guys will have these stories they wanna tell to impress a girl, but they won't have anything to do with what the two of them were just talking about. And it's like tossing on Netflix and having someone throw on a random show. You don't know what it's about. You don't care about the topic. You're probably not gonna listen too much. You're probably not gonna pay attention. A simple way to tell if a girl's gonna be interested in your story before you tell it is if she asks you about something related to the story. So maybe she's like, oh, like I've always wanted to go to Asia. What's that like? Or what's it like being a YouTuber? Or maybe she's talking about cooking or skydiving and you have a story about that. Great. Now, once she brings that up, here's your chance to tell it because you have that interest. She's not gonna be tuning you out. Second, before you start the story, you wanna drop in a nice little line that's gonna get her excited about hearing it and really gonna capture that attention. So here are a few examples. Say, oh, so this is a true story. You're not gonna believe this, but so this was the best meal I've ever had in my life. Matter of fact, I have a friend who's really good at telling stories. He always like hooks your attention right in. And the way he started his story the other day was, this is the time that taking mushrooms completely changed my life. The point is, once you hear these little lines, you're kind of hooked. It's like, damn bro, how did mushrooms change your life? Or what was the best meal of your life really like? You know, it creates those questions in the girl's mind and she's hooked. She really wants to hear the rest of it just because you had that little line in there. You don't have to do this every time you tell a story, but it is good to sprinkle it in there when you can. It's really gonna get the girl excited to hear it and make sure that she's gonna pay attention because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I'm down for the long run now. Red Corvette and my drop top down. Calling up my digits in my Motorola and I'm speed.
This isn't some throwaway thing you're telling her. This is a story. So you wanna commit to telling it with 100%. You wanna go at it with that attitude. So you wanna tell it like you're living it. But what does that mean? Well, you wanna make some good hand gestures. You want to throw in some sound effects if that's what it takes, and even imitate some people's voices if you wanna have some fun with it. Doing this helps you bring more enthusiasm to the story itself. It helps you get excited about it. She gets excited about it as a result, and the story becomes a lot more interesting. Along with this, you also wanna try to keep the mystery alive. It's like when someone's telling you about a movie, it sucks if they tell you the ending right away, right? That's a spoiler. So you don't want to give the ending away to your story too soon either. It's a lot better to allow for the buildup. You know, you want the girl to be thinking, okay, what's gonna happen next? Not, oh, that's gonna happen and all this is just kind of like bullshit leading up to it. By not giving away the story too soon, you keep her guessing, you keep her wanting to know more, and you keep her attracted.
We're in this together, we both fall down. Doesn't matter if the sun goes up, 'cause we will still be high when love.
So another thing you want to do is bring her into it, make the story engaging, make her feel like she's a part of it too, versus you just kind of talking at her the whole time. But how do you do that? So maybe you're like, hey, I was at the Salt and Pepper Diner the other night, and you know how some of those old school diners still have jukeboxes? Or, so I was walking through the streets of Asia, and have you ever been to Asia before? All it takes is sprinkling in a couple of questions like these throughout your story, and it makes it engaging, it keeps her involved, and that little bit of extra engagement makes the story more interesting, and it makes her feel like she can relate to it, and she's a part of it.
Lab till I'm finished, had a handful of lemons through the hand, got a bag, now the hands in the business. For my hand, it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a combination.
One mistake a lot of guys make when they're telling stories is that they just go into the details super in depth, and these are details that the person who's listening doesn't really need to hear in order to understand the story and get the point. So the person listening is like, okay bro, come on, get to the point, and it kind of ruins the story. So when it comes to sharing details, only share what's really necessary in order to get to the point. So let's say I was telling Yuki the story about the first time I had sushi in Japan. An example of me giving way too many details might be like, yeah, so a bunch of my friends and I, we all like to travel around a lot, and we were trying to figure out a good place to go for the summer. And a few of my friends thought maybe Ukraine, maybe Bangkok, but then we eventually decided on Japan. That shit's boring as hell, right? You don't need all those details. What you could just say instead is, hey, so a bunch of my friends and I were in Japan, and we found this amazing sushi restaurant, and we knew we had to go there for our first time trying sushi. If she wants to know more about the context, she can ask about it, and then when she asks about it, like, oh, how'd you and your friends end up in Japan? It's not like you're just overcrowding her with details.
You just lead us up to me, I can show you my world, we can go through it all.
Now, bro, the thing that's really gonna set your story apart from just a normal story that two friends would tell each other is that you wanna try to highlight attractive qualities about yourself. If you can do that, she's gonna be like, okay, not only is this guy a good storyteller, but he's also an attractive guy that I want to get to know more. And the best part is by weaving these qualities into your stories versus just being like, hey, I'm this, it's more subtle, right? And subtlety is a key aspect of good flirting, of being an attractive guy. So it's gonna give you a leg up. Now, if you're like, Dave, what do girls find attractive? I'm not sure what those qualities are. I got you covered, man. If you want to know which traits you should be trying to highlight in your stories, check out this video right here. It's all about the traits that women find most attractive in a guy. Let's keep it going. I'll see you right here, homie.